Okay, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and I left Trinidad just before my 21st birthday. So I was a young man, and I came to America, to New York, to join with my mother. My mother was in America for like 5 years before. My father had died when I was 14. And maybe 2 years later, my mother went to America. And she left me to stay with my uncle and aunt in Trinidad. But when just couple of weeks before my 21st birthday, my mother wrote me a letter telling me I must come to New York. She wanted me to come and be with her. At that time, when I got the letter, I didn't want to go. I was not fascinated about America. Most people want to go to America, but I didn't care. I liked Trinidad. But I read my mother's letter and I could see, I read between the lines, and I see she really wants me to come because she's lonely. None of her children are with her, and she's lonely. So I thought, okay, I will go just for her, but I don't want to go. Because at 21, life is just unfolding, it's just opening up. And I have friends, and involved in different things, which I think are important. So I don't want to come to America. But because she wants me to come, I thought I will go for her. She's lonely. So I came and I hated it right away. Yes, I hated it right away. Because when I landed in New York, there was snow on the ground. It was April, and it was freezing cold. And my whole life I had lived in Trinidad, which is kind of like here, tropical. I'd never seen snow, I'd never felt cold. I didn't have a coat. I was dressed for the island, and I landed and it's freezing and snow. So immediately I don't like this place. I want to go back. But all right, I'm here, so I stayed. Then, a few days later, I went to look for a job. I got a job, so I have something to do. And while I'm working, when lunchtime, you get 1 hour, I went out in the streets and I saw the devotees, Hare Krishna devotees, first time. They were chanting and dancing, and I like this sound. I don't know what it means. I'd never heard it before, but I like the sound. And then they give me a card inviting me come to temple for Sunday feast. They say on the card, Sunday love feast. When I saw love feast, I thought, oh, they must be hippies, because I didn't know what they were. But the word love feast made me think they must be hippies, but they're not hippies. And so eventually I went to the temple, first day, and one devotee, brahmachari, he took me in a room and let me sit down, and then he brought me a plate of prasadam. He said, "This is prasadam." And I said, "What is prasadam?" Because I don't know. He said, "This is sanctified food." Sanctified food. It's food offered to God. And while I'm eating, he's preaching to me.
Good system.
While I'm eating, he's preaching to me, and he's destroying all my misconceptions. All that I thought I knew, he was showing me that is not truth, that is false, that is ignorant. Everything. But I didn't mind, I just kept eating. And then when I was finished eating, he said, he asked me if I want to go outside and do some devotional service. Now those two words, devotional and service, I never heard them together before. Devotional service. Nobody else says that, right? No one says that. So I asked him, what is devotional service? I don't know. He said, to do some service for the ashram, for Krishna. So I thought, well, you fed me, so I will do some service because you fed me. And he took me outside, and there was a big fountain. You know what fountain is, right? But it's broken. It's cracked in half. So the fountain cannot hold any water. It's cracked. Big concrete fountain. And then he gave me a pickaxe. Pickaxes to break. They break stone or concrete. He said, we want to move this fountain from here in the backyard. So we have to break it up into many small pieces. And then we can put it in a wheelbarrow and move it. And we want to plant nice lawn, grass. And in the summertime we want to have plays, drama, plays outside at the Sunday feast. So I said, okay. So I spent whole afternoon swinging that pickaxe, breaking, I demolished that fountain. I'd never done that before, but I did it. And the devotees, when they passed by, and they saw me working so hard, they all said, Jai. And I didn't know what is Jai. Later I understand why they say Jai, because they knew that it won't be long I will be with them. Krishna will pull me in because I'm serving very difficult service. So, I worked all afternoon swinging that pickaxe. And then in the evening, 9 o'clock, they say, 6 o'clock. He came and that same devotee asked me if I want to go out with the devotees on Sankirtan. And I said, what is that? These are words I never heard before in my life. What is Sankirtan? He said, well, we go out in the streets and chant. I said, oh, I don't think so. I refuse, I'm not. It's okay, I'm not going. So all the devotees in the temple go out and they leave me alone back in the temple. And he gave me a book, Bhagavad Gita, to read. He said, you can read this. But within 5 minutes I start to read, in 5 minutes I fall asleep because I was tired. I worked so hard and I was tired. So I just fell asleep on the ground. And then the devotees come back from Sankirtan, 9 o'clock. And they come back and they're all very blissful, you know.
Yes.
They're ecstatic. So I said, what time is it? They said, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I said, oh, I have to go home. I just realized I have to go home. I've been here all day. And the devotee says, no, you don't have to go home. I said, no, I have to go home. He said, no, you don't have to go home. I said, no, I have to go home. He said, no, you don't have to go. I realized he's not going to let me go home. He was persistent. So I thought, okay. I said, lend me the telephone. I have to call my mother. I was living with my mother. So I called my mother and I said, I'm not coming home tonight. And she is immediately worried because I am new in America. So she's worried. She says, you're not coming home? Who are you staying with? She wants to know. And I said, oh, I looked at the devotees in front of me and I thought, I cannot tell her who I'm staying with because they are different. So she said, who are you staying with? I said, I'm staying with some friends. And my mother says, you have no friends. You just got here, you have no friends. So what friend are you talking about? I said, look, I have friends, okay? I have friends. And she's worried. She's in anxiety because it's New York. It's a big place. So I said, look, I will see you in the morning, and when I come, I will explain everything. And that's not good enough for her. She has many questions, and I just hang up the phone. And I spend the night. And next morning they came to wake me up at 4 o'clock. And I couldn't move. All my muscles were hurting. Even here, everywhere, because of swinging the pickaxe.
Yes.
That was hard work.
It is.
Very hard work. Mm-hmm. So when they come to wake me at 4 o'clock, one, I'm not accustomed to getting up so early. And two, I'm extremely tired and my muscles are hurting. But the devotee who's waking me up, he doesn't care. He was like a military. You must get up. And I said, I'm tired. He said, get up. He wouldn't let me sleep. So I realized this guy, he's not going to let me sleep. So I got up and went to shower. There's a long line. Long line. They have 2 showers and 40 brahmacharis. That means, he said, you can only shower for 1 minute. Yes, to get everybody showered and time for Mangalarti is half an hour. You cannot take more 1 or 2 minutes maximum. Okay, I go in the shower, there's only cold water, ice cold water. Not, no hot water, none. Only cold water. And I thought, how am I going to shower here? Anyway, I did it. I come out, and they're like, everyone's hustling. Everybody's rushing to get downstairs for Mangalarti, 4:30. So I made it down, and I stayed the whole morning. Mangalarti, Tulasi, Arti, then japa. Somebody give me some beads and tell me, teach me how to chant japa. So I took the beads and I go and I sit down to chant, but I'm so tired. I'm really tired that I'm falling asleep. And the same devotee who was waking me up, he comes and he says, get up, you're sleeping. So they won't let me sleep upstairs, they won't let me sleep downstairs. Anyway, this is how my morning was. Every time I sit down, I not fall asleep, they wake me up, tell me stand up. I got through the morning, then they had class, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then after that they had prasadam. So I make up in my mind, I said, I'm going to stay for breakfast and then I'm leaving. I've got to go home and sleep. So I did. But after 1 week I thought, let me go back and see. I thought they are I thought those devotees are I thought they are great, they're incredible to live like that. I thought they are. I liked everything, I liked what I heard, the philosophy. I liked the prasadam, I liked the chanting, but I cannot live like them because they are living so austere. In those days, there is no bed, nothing. They just sleep on the floor like this. That's how it was. The temple was poor, so they have no money to give anybody anything. But yet everybody was happy because they were getting Prabhupada. So they were happy. Even though there was austerity, they didn't mind. Prabhupada was keeping them happy. So I began to come every Sunday for the feast. And I liked it, but I know I'm not going to join. Because how they are living, I cannot do that. And my mother, when I explained her, she didn't mind. Although she was Catholic, I was raised as a Catholic, she didn't mind me going to the temple. In the morning, Sunday morning, I go with her, I go to church. And then Sunday afternoon, I go to temple for Sunday feast. She didn't mind. But then one Sunday I went to temple, and when I arrived, the devotees told me, they said, "Today you are very lucky." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because Prabhupada is at the airport, and he's coming here, and he's going to give the Sunday feast lecture." So I thought, oh, and I'll finally get to see him and hear him. Because then I hadn't seen him yet, I didn't know who he was, nothing. So Prabhupada came, and I sat close. This is Vyasa son. I was sitting right here. Because I want to hear everything that he was saying. And I listened very carefully. And Prabhupada was speaking with a sense of urgency. You know this word? Yes. Urgency. Like, urgency means no time to waste. So he was preaching to everybody, all the guests, don't waste human life. Now is the time. Take Krishna consciousness. Make your lives perfect. This was the substance of his talk. Urgent. No time to waste. So afterwards, when I was going home, I take a bus to go home. All I was thinking of, now I have to join. Previously I think I'm never going to join, how they're living. But after hearing Prabhupada speak, I thought, now I have to join. And all the excuse I was making before, finished. All those excuses went out the window. So it took few months. Then I was ready to join. So join means I have to quit my job. So first person I told I'm going to join is my mother. So when I told my mother I'm going to join, she starts crying. She's crying like anything. And she's like uncontrollable crying. And my younger brother and younger sister, they also come from Trinidad, they were there too. And my younger sister, she's crying too. Why are you all crying? This is no reason to cry. But they're not listening to me, they're crying. So I told my mother, I got an idea, and I said, Ma, she called her Ma, I said, you are crying at the wrong time. I said, you are crying, but it's the wrong time. So she stopped crying for a minute, she said, what do you mean? I said, before I met the devotees, I was doing all kinds of nonsense, right? I was doing drinking, smoking, whatever. That's what all young people were doing. So I said, before I met the devotees, I was doing all nonsense. And I said, you know I was doing nonsense, right? She said, yes, I know you were doing nonsense. I said, but you never cry. You never cry. You see me doing nonsense and you never cry. Now, I'm straight, I'm getting everything right. I'm cleaning up my life. Now you're crying? I said, "You're crying at the wrong time." And she could not argue with that logic. She stopped crying. So I came and and everybody that I told, all my friends, everybody that I know, I had some cousins from Trinidad, they're also living in New York. I tell them, everybody I told, no one thought what I am going to do is a good idea. No, not even one person said, "That sounds like a good idea." No. Everyone says, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And I say, "Why?" They have no good reason. They just say, "Don't do it," but no good reason. So I say, "Well, you cannot give me a good reason why not to do it. I'm going to do it." So I joined. I joined. And that was in 1972 or 73, right at that time. So I embraced life as a devotee. And Prabhupada came again, I think maybe 73, Prabhupada, when I moved in, Prabhupada came, but I was not initiated yet. And he came and it was so wonderful, you know. When Prabhupada came to a temple, everybody gets lifted. He lifts you up, everybody, because of his purity. So, my life was wonderful. No anxiety. It's I think that time when Prabhupada came, after I was in the temple, I don't think I was initiated. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, I can't remember, so long ago. But I was already chanting. I was already leading kirtan. I took that up. And when Prabhupada was coming, the president, he make an announcement, he says, "Prabhupada's coming today at this time," and everybody is going to the airport to greet Prabhupada. They're going to the airport. And then afterwards he called me and he says, "Actually, everybody is going but not you." And I was, what do you mean that? He says, we need somebody to stay behind, to guard the temple, and you have to stay and do that. So I was like, I don't like this. I want to go like everybody wants to go, but he's telling me I have to stay here. I was horrified. It was a difficult dilemma, because I really want to go, but he says I have to stay. Anyway, I surrendered. I stayed. And everybody went to the airport. And then when Prabhupada arrived, Prabhupada's car, his car would come and meet by the side, and Prabhupada walks in. he walks in alone. He had maybe 2 sannyasis in his car, his servant, and the temple president. But those 2 sannyasis, servant and the president took them to the pujari room and they opened the door for Prabhupada to come in the temple. So Prabhupada come in the temple room alone and I'm just walking chanting japa. And I saw him, I immediately fall and pay obeisances. Then the president, the 2 sannyasis, the servant, they want to do a ceremony to wash Prabhupada's feet and do arti and put a garland on it. They want to do all this little ceremony, Guru Puja. So all 4 of them come. Somebody has a pitcher with water and a basin, a bowl. Somebody has a towel. Somebody's going to start the arti, and somebody is maybe waving a fan or something. So as they're doing this, I'm standing up watching, because this is the first time I've seen this ceremony. So I'm standing watching. It's new. I'm curious. But the president looked back and he looked at me and he said, chant! Like, don't just stand there. Do something, chant! I said, okay. So I went and I got him a ganga and I began to chant for Prabhupada. And small, just, So I sing in Sri Guru Charana Padma. And I'm looking at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is looking at me, and when I'm singing, he's responding. Every line, Every line I sing, he responded. But the other men, they're absorbing what they're doing. Maybe they're chanting too, but I can't see their face. So, when we got to the end of the song, last verse, it's Ha Ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Padu Chaya. When you got to that last verse, suddenly you could hear outside the temple building all motor cars screeching, brakes, cars stop, doors open and doors slamming, and all the devotees arrive. They come 10 minutes after, and they come running into the temple room, and they're shocked to see Prabhupada is sitting there, and they're just finishing articles, and I'm singing. And then they all join. They come and they join me in the kirtan, and we had a big kirtan for Prabhupada. That was the first time.
Wonderful.
So that was a really special time. And I learned that because I thought I really wanted to go to the airport, and I even thought maybe I will run away and go. I thought maybe I will run away and forget about the temple and go and get in the car, one of the cars, and go. But if I had done that, I would not have gotten the opportunity to do this, to chant for Prabhupada. Because I was giving up my duty, what I was supposed to do. So I learned that it's important to do your duty. So, Prabhupada came, I think after that, I stayed in New York Temple for 2 years. And then I moved to Los Angeles temple. Because in New York, during the winter, it was very difficult for me. Very cold. I mean, really cold. If you live all your life in the tropics and you go there, it's hell. So what I tolerated, and then I thought maybe it's better if I go to California. It's warmer climate. So I went to Los Angeles. And it was very nice. But I mean, any time Prabhupada visits, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And it makes up for all the other troubles. The troubles become insignificant. If, you know. So,
if you want, you can tell any other meeting with Srila Prabhupada, and also your initiation, how was the interview with Prabhupada for the initiation and second initiation.
Okay. When I got first initiation, Prabhupada was not present.
Was not.
He was not in New York. He was somewhere else. He was traveling around the world. But he sent a letter. He sent a letter saying he accepts a group of devotees as his disciples with their names. And one sannyasi was present, was there in New York. His name was Rupanuga. So he was there and he spoke. He spoke and he told us what our name is. You know, he said, Prabhupada has accepted you, this is the new name, Agnideva. And it was a happy day to know that he has accepted you as his disciple. Even though he wasn't physically present, it was happy just to know. You know, yeah. So then, maybe 1 year later or something, 1 year later, Prabhupada, the president in New York Temple, announced that Prabhupada is going to Philadelphia. Yes, we have temple there. Prabhupada is going there for Rath Yatra. Now Philadelphia is not very far from New York, maybe 2 hours. You know, on the East Coast, all the states are close. You can drive to so many states. In 2-3 hours you're there. So the president announced Prabhupada is coming to Philadelphia for Rath Yatra. And then he said, and so everybody is going to Philadelphia in cars. Everybody is going.
Yes.
And then he called me and he said, everybody is going, but you're not going. He said, me and one other boy, we are not going to Philadelphia. And so we like, why is he doing this? Why is he's punishing us? We want to go, of course, everybody wants to go. Prabhupada is going to be at Rath Yatra. You want to be there. he said, somebody has to stay back. One lady, she was head pujari. I think her name was Shilavati. She was an older lady, but she was the head pujari. She was not going. So he said he needed two people to stay back. One to assist the pujari, means to bring the plates, the deity, the offering, take the plates, transfer, wash the plates, all that. And one person, me, to cook. So he said, so you have to stay back. He said, but the Rath Yatra is on Sunday, so everybody's leaving early Sunday morning or Saturday evening, they're going. He said, but Monday morning, they will start coming back early. He said, and the first car will come back, will reach back at the temple at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that. And he said, when that car comes back, you two will get in that car and go back to drive to Philadelphia, Monday. But we'll miss the Rath Yatra. He says, but on Monday, Prabhupada is going to give second initiation. And you two will go and get initiated second. So we went to that, we got in the car, as soon as they come, we drive. And we got there just in time. Prabhupada was greeting the deities. The curtain was open, Govindam, and then he sat down to give class. So Prabhupada was giving class. And something happened during the beginning of the class. At that time, the class Prabhupada was going to speak on from the 6th canto with Ajamil. 6th canto. But that book wasn't published yet. Prabhupada was translating that canto. So his servant, one of his servants, had the manuscript, because Prabhupada was working on it. Prabhupada translated in the middle of the night, and the servant take the tape and listen to it and transcribe it, type out everything, word for word, what Prabhupada said. So those transcripts he had. And so Prabhupada told him to write one verse on a chalkboard, blackboard, so that everybody in the temple, we could chant and respond and follow, Many devotees, some men and then some women. And then when enough people had chanted, Prabhupada told his servant, now say the translation. So he goes to read the translation from the manuscript. And he said, he's reading it. He says, and it's the part where he's reading about in the Bhagavatam is when the Yamadutas come in for Ajamil. Right? They're coming and they're looking very horrible. So when Ajamil see the Yamaduta, he said, when Ajamil saw these horrible creatures, he became afraid and he cried out for his son. He said, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So we of course, we are here. Everybody else, we are hearing this for the first time because it's not in a book form yet. This is the beginning. So as he said that, Narayan, 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 we all thought, okay. But then Prabhupada took the microphone and he asked a question. He is asking the servant who read the translation, who transcribed the tapes. Prabhupada's asking him, he said, did I say 3 times? Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. He said, did I say 3 times? And we are all wondering, what is Prabhupada talking about? He's asking a question, but we don't know what is this about. Did I say 3 times? And the servant, he's sitting there, he's not answering. He's not saying anything. So Prabhupada thought, he asked it again. Did I say 3 times? And the boy still said, not saying anything. His head is bowed, but he's silent. And then we realize something is wrong. Something is wrong here. We don't know what, but something is wrong. So, and then Prabhupada leaned back in his Vyasa, and you could see he's thinking, because he translated this just during the night. So he knows what he said. And that's not what he said. So he think, and then he leaned forward, he said, this is the 3rd time now, he says, I did not say 3 times. He said, just Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. He said, I did not say that. Now the boy, the servant, he confessed. He said, yeah, he said, no, Prabhupada, you did not say 3 times. And so now we understood. He had changed what Prabhupada wrote, and Prabhupada caught it. Prabhupada caught it. So then Prabhupada, he sat for half a minute, and he said, and he looked at everybody in the temple room, and he said, why 3 times? He's asking us, why 3 times? And then he said, once is sufficient. And he did like this, once is sufficient. When he said that, the whole temple room, everybody went, Haribol! Because it was so powerful. He knows the glories of the holy name. He said, once is sufficient. And then he turned to the servant and very gently, very compassionately, he just said, don't change anything that I say. That's it. He could have been heavy with him, but he wasn't. And if he was heavy with him, that boy would have melted in the floor. He would have melted to the ground, because it would have been public humiliation. But Prabhupada didn't do that. He just said, don't change anything. And that was the end of it. And then Prabhupada went on to give Srimad Bhagavatam class, speaking of. And the whole class is speaking about the glories of the holy name. Especially in that 6th canto, with Ajami, there's lots of nectar of the holy name. It was a good example. But you know, the story of Swami, he was very sinful. But at the end of his life, he chanted the name Narayan. And when he chanted name Narayan, he was chanting for his son. But then he remembered the real Narayan. First he chanted his son's name, but by doing so he remembered, and real Narayan heard him and immediately sent the Vishnu Dutas. And they came and stopped the Yamadutas. They said, "You cannot touch this man." And there was big discussion, because Yamaduta said, "This man is very sinful. He is very sinful. We know all the sins he has done, everything is recorded. And who are you telling the Vishnu Duta, why are you stopping us? This man is sinful. Our master, Yamaraj, he told us to come and get this man." They said, no. He has chanted the name of our master, Narayan. Therefore you cannot touch him. So after class, we went and we got second initiation from Prabhupada. But that little episode, that little event was very instructive. We remember it, how, you know.
Any other episode personally with Srila Prabhupada?
Yes, this was when I was still in New York Temple for that one. But when I was in Los Angeles, this time Prabhupada was coming to the temple from somewhere. And this time the temple president told me, he's a different temple president. He's different from the New York president. This one, he said, "I want you to lead the kirtan when Prabhupada's coming to greet Prabhupada." So I was so happy. I was afraid he might tell me to stay back also. So I was happy to do that service. It's a service. And at the airport, before Prabhupada came through the gates, I was thinking, what melody should I chant Hare Krishna to that would please him? So I was thinking how to please Srila Prabhupada. And thinking about it like that, this is before he come out. I remembered one devotee had told me that one of the melodies we used to sing in those days, there were only few melodies, maybe half a dozen melodies, and everybody around the world used to sing those melodies, right? And I remember some devotee told me that one of those melodies we used to sing, they told me in New York that Prabhupada had said that this melody was his Guru Maharaj, one of his Guru Maharaj's favorite melody. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati liked this melody. So I remember that, and I thought, but I never heard anybody say what is Prabhupada's favorite melody. Never heard that. But I thought, if this is one melody, is one of Bhaktisiddhanta's favorite, then I will sing that and Prabhupada will like that. So I decided that's what I'm going to sing. And then, when Prabhupada came out through the door, there must have been a couple hundred devotees waiting for him. Because from Los Angeles was the headquarters. They had 400 or 500 devotees. And there was at least 200 out at the airport. Big crowd, right? And then, as Prabhupada's coming, as soon as he comes out, I start kirtan. So first I sing his Pranam-Mantra, Namo Vishnu Pada, Namaste Saraswati, then Sri Krishna Chaitanya. By the time I was singing, so when I finished chanting Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhupada is like right where you are, coming up to pass me, because we were two lines, and he coming down the middle. So he's right there, and I'm right here. And it's just as everyone's finished singing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Panchatattva mantra, and he passed me, and I start singing the Hare Krishna mantra to that melody, that tune that's supposed to be Bhakti-Siddhanta's, like he likes this one. So I start with that Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada got like this far. He passed me. So when he passed, we turned and we all got behind him. Because he's coming and we got behind and everybody's fallen behind and he's going out. And he's halfway through the melody, like the first part, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's half. And then Hare Rama, Hare Rama. That's the second half. I got the first half singing. Prabhupada stopped walking. He has a cane. He stopped walking and he turned around and he looked at me. And he had a big smile on his face. And he did his head like this, come on. And he turned back around. And everybody was, whoa! Those who saw it, they jumped up in the air and said, Hari Bo, because they knew that Prabhupada was pleased, And I knew he's very pleased. So, when I chant, it's for his pleasure. I do not chant for name and fame. But fame comes. But that's not why I was chanting. But some fame come and I became famous. Everywhere I go, people like here, everybody's telling me, oh, we were listening to you from so long ago. And so, that is Prabhupada's blessing on me. And still to this day I chant for his pleasure. So, I think maybe one more time last visit to Los Angeles, he was invited to go to Golden Avatar Studios. One devotee had made professional recording studio. As business, he was going to record people.
You can continue.
I can't talk if no one's there. No, but if no one is, then I'll stop.
Okay, that's it.
I'm not an impersonalist. So, anyway, he came to LA and he was invited to go to Golden Avatar Studios to inspect the recording studio. And when I heard he's going there, then I thought, I'm going there also. And that was the first time I got to see Prabhupada. Anyway, that was the first time I got to see Prabhupada sing and play harmonium. And then the rewinded tape, and then he played Madanga to accompany himself. He put headphones and he played. Seeing him do that, I thought he was expert, because he accompanied himself and the Madanga so perfectly and played harmonium like nobody else. And of course his singing was very special. So I experienced that in Los Angeles. That was Prabhupada's last visit to Los Angeles. That's about the only times that I got to be close to Prabhupada. You know?
You would like to sing the melody that Srila Prabhupada was very pleased?
I knew you would ask that. Whenever I tell this story, they always want to know, what is that melody? Tell me if you know it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know this one?
Yes, I do think that's...
Yeah, this was one of the first few melodies the devotees knew. And when I started singing that, Prabhupada turned around and was like really pleased. I still sing that melody sometimes. Of course, now I know so many more. You know? Going to India, Mayapur, I learned so many more melodies. But this was a simple one, and he was happy with that.
Yeah, sure. Now, if you have any memory about your godbrother, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, you would like to share with us?
Not much. I remember him after Prabhupada had left, so maybe 78, 79, somewhere around, it was close. And he was one of the 11 gurus. And at that time I was in Laguna Beach. I came from New York to Los Angeles, and the GBC man in Los Angeles sent me to Laguna Beach to be president. So I was president in Laguna Beach. And because it's only 1 hour from Los Angeles, Laguna Beach is right in the middle. 1 hour this way is Los Angeles, 1 hour that way is San Diego. Laguna Beach is right in the middle. So I used to go up there frequently and go to San Diego also. So one day I was in LA, just for the day, and Jayapataka Maharaj came. So we stayed to hear him give a talk. And in the evening, and maybe it was morning, I can't remember, but anyway, he spoke, and I was very attracted to how he spoke, because he spoke about, Gaur Leela, Chaitanya Leela, like nobody else. None of the other gurus spoke about Lord Chaitanya like he did. He knew He knew many pastimes of Lord Chaitanya that, you know. So I was attracted to that, because in Laguna Beach, I had gotten a church for the new temple, a church, big church, and for the opening we installed Panchatattva. If you bring this, I'll show you my iPad. Panchatattva. Yes, very beautiful. And so they are my worship of the deities, what you call Ishta Devata, Panchatattva. And then when Jayapatākā came to Los Angeles and he was speaking the pastime, I was so happy. So afterwards I went up to him and I invited him to come to Laguna Beach. And of course we only had few devotees, maybe 12 devotees. And Los Angeles had almost 500. So everybody, all the gurus, sannyasis, they all go there. Nobody was coming here to Laguna Beach because we are small. It's like South America, not many people come, right? They decide where they're going to go. But we invited him and he said, okay. And he said, I think that time he told us that his mother lives in the area near the Laguna Beach temple. So I can't remember if he gave us her number. Maybe he gave us her number and I sent my wife to go pick her up and bring her. I can't remember, it's so long ago. But I know my wife went and bring her because he was coming. And I thought he would be happy. So he was happy to see his mother. That was the first time. And I think he came one more time. Like I said, and I enjoyed his company, I enjoyed his katha especially because he spoke with passion about Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda. He knew the pastimes of Lord Gauranga. He knew pastimes that nobody else knew. So I was happy about that, I like that. Of course, over the years, sometimes I go to Mayapur, I see him, but we didn't talk, but say, you know. But I've always, you know. Oh, there was one more incident. One time I went, the devotees in New Orleans, in America. They invite me, they want me to come for Rath Yatra. They flew me there to come for Rath Yatra. And at the same time, Jayapatākā was coming for Rath Yatra. And the evening before the Rath Yatra, say Rath Yatra is tomorrow morning, tonight we all went on Harinam Sankirtan in the town, you know. And Jayapatākā went with us. I remember he was playing, in those days he used to play these big wampas. They're like huge, so loud. If you're standing near to him, it's like, you wonder if your ears are going to hold up. But anyway, he came out and we went on Harinam. I was leading. I led the Kirtan. And when we went in this area, I think they call it the French Quarter. They have a name for that part of New Orleans. It's famous. Well, it's night, and people are walking around in this, no cars in the street, but people are walking around, all holding big mug with beer. They're drinking in the streets and and then the sidewalk, everybody's drinking. And so as the Harinam party comes down the street, some of the people, they oh, Hare, they dance, they jump, and they join the party. And we are thinking, oh, this is nice, they're joining the Harinam party. But then, they went behind us, and somebody poured one glass of beer on my head. You suddenly feel this cold liquid, and it rolled down your face, over your mouth, and you can taste the beer. And they did the same thing with Maharaj. They pour beer on. And he looked at me and he said, I think we should go back now. So we turned around and went back. That was the end of the Harinam. Because we would be smelling wet with beer on our clothes. And we went back to the temple, and the next morning we had a nice Rath Yatra, and he was there. That's the only other time. That's in New Orleans. I think he used to go there often, maybe once a year or something. He'd come from India. So he had, I think even today, maybe he still goes there, because one godbrother of mine told me there are many Bengalis living in New Orleans. Bengali, they're all driving taxi to make money. So they probably came, but now they're caught up trying to make money. So maybe he still comes, I don't know. But there's lots of Bengalis living there in New Orleans.
Yeah. Could you tell us maybe how you saw His Holiness Jayapataka Swami dealing with his god brothers and god sister? With you, with other god brothers, how is his dealings?
Well, I remember once in Mayapur, that's not too long ago, I was there for Kirtan Mela. And after the Kirtan Mela, one night, they told us to come, and upstairs in a building there was a big feast, and Jayapataka Maharaj had arranged it. He had ordered them to make a big feast, and so all the Kirtaniyas, we were invited to go up there and take prasadam. And when we were going up, they had garlands for everybody. It was very nice. That's the only thing I remember with him, how he didn't have to do that, but he did make that arrangement, and it was nice. We appreciate that.
And last question is how you see His Holiness Jayapataka Swami following Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj's orders or instructions.
Well, he is definitely preaching. I hear all of his preaching. I think he has the most disciples in the movement and all the other gurus. And so I know, I don't doubt that, I have no doubts that he's trying to please Srila Prabhupada, pushing on the movement. I mean, he's been in Mayapur for years, from even when Prabhupada was here. He was there. Him and Babananda were the two sannyasis that were there, the development of Mayapur from the beginning. So I have all respect for him. I mean, ISKCON went through some turbulent times, troublesome times after Prabhupada left, maybe a few years after. And he's remained steady, fixed in his service. And we saw others fell down and left, but he stayed and did his service. So that's all, It was a difficult time during that time for everyone. Because when Prabhupada left, everyone wanted to follow and cooperate with the leaders. But then when the troubles began, then so many of my godbrothers, many of his godbrothers, so many of them left. They left in it was like Exodus. Exodus, They left in big large amounts. And watching that happen was bewildering to me. It was disturbing to my mind. Why? Didn't understand. But anyway, the movement is still strong and still going forward, but without many of Prabhupada's disciples. Unfortunate. That is unfortunate. And there are many different opinions about that. But I know that was a bewildering time in ISKCON. See so many people leaving. People who were trained up and capable of doing nice service in the movement, they left. It was really and I know Prabhupada wasn't happy about that. So many, they were good devotees, they were not bad devotees, there were so many of them. And things are much better now and everything, but those devotees, they don't come back. don't come back. They left, but they don't come back. So, as I said, that was a difficult time for me. It was a bewildering time. I didn't understand. So, but I wasn't going to leave. I wasn't going to give it up. It was, how do I say it? My faith in Srila Prabhupada was firm. No, I never lost faith in Srila Prabhupada. I didn't lose faith in the process of Krishna consciousness that he had given. But I think faith in the leadership, that was damaged. That is my honest assessment, that my faith in the leaders, that was damaged. In other words, before, I would follow them blindly. I would follow the leaders blindly. I had faith in them. And when they started falling down one by one, then that faith in them was damaged. But faith in Prabhupada was still intact. Faith in Krishna consciousness, faith in the devotees, that was all still good. It was like a test, you know. So.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Jai.
Jai. La Prabhupada ki.
Prabhupada ki jai.